everybody. Welcome inside the CrossFit Update Studios. Sean Woodland, Rory McKernan, and Tommy Marquez recapping the Latin America Regional, the regional that almost wasn't. There was a huge truck driver strike throughout the country of Brazil, shut down just about everything. A lot of our equipment didn't even show up, but the community down there rallied, gathered up a bunch of stuff, and this event went off as planned. So thanks all of you down there. Thanks to all of you down there for actually making that happen. That was incredible. Only one man, one woman, and one team heading to the CrossFit Games from the Latin American Regional, and it made for some very exciting action. Pablo Chalfoun wins for the men. Brenda Castro, the first Mexican woman to head to the CrossFit Games as an individual, and then Team Colombia Parceros gets in on the final event. That kicked things off on a very exciting Sunday. What do we know about that team?
Well, they never led until the final announcement, pretty much. But what was kind of encouraging for me about their performance, you look at their scoreboard, they got 2 event wins. Both of those event wins came with the worm implement programmed in there, and that's something that is pretty much a hallmark of the team competition and something you're definitely going to see coming forward. Super impressive for them. They needed a win if they wanted to go to the CrossFit Games, knowing that the disparity between them and the team that they were chasing at the time, the Samurai team, wasn't very big, and that the Samurai team wasn't giving up very many points, and they came out and went for the jugular. They got the event win, and now they get to wave their flag at the CrossFit Games as well.
It's a great point about the worm, because Dave Castro has specifically expressed his love for this implement due to the fact that in other kinds of team events, you'll see the weakest link when they're separated, when you see maybe the males together and the females together, or some sort of disparate area like that. This one shows your weakest member while you're all working together, and he actually said that out loud, so you know you will see it at the games like you mentioned. My big thought for these guys is that of anybody in Latin America, these are the ones who have the pressure. They have big shoes to fill, as they did have a team who went last year.
Yeah, on the men's side, Pablo Chalfoun gave us an exciting event 6, not because he went out and won and earned a spot, but because he had enough of a cushion heading into the event after a great performance in event 5 that it looked like he was going to sail to a win. He didn't have the performance he needed, and there were some nail-biting moments there for him at the end. But what do we know about Pablo Chalfoun as he heads to Madison, Wisconsin?
Well, if you followed the Latin America region, Pablo's cohort had a shirt that said Pablo knows, and they forgot the few words how to close at the bottom, because the way he finished the competition, 3 straight top 3 finishes to basically shut the door on a young and up-and-coming athlete, Luis Oscar Mora, that we'll definitely see in the future. And this is a guy who almost didn't make it to regionals. The quote from the movie Talladega Nights comes to mind from one Reese Bobby: "If you're not first, you're last." And he was last in the open, last guy to get through the door into regionals, and he walks away as first and gets to go to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, I find it interesting. He's an American football player down there, and the Pablo Nose reference is Bo Nose. You told me that.
Bo Jackson.
I find that really interesting, and I love it. I thought this was really cool to have this Cinderella story come out at a time where Rio de Janeiro was literally in chaos. You know, this was a strike that didn't just affect our little fitness competition. This was a big mess down there, and so to have the hometown Cinderella story come, like you said, 5 people had to deny their invitation for him to even be there, and here he goes and he wins the event. He's going to represent Madison. I thought that was perfect.
That was unexpected. What was not unexpected was the winner of the women's division. Brenda Castro is someone who showed up on our radar in 2017 when she was part of that open announcement, went head-to-head with Brooke Wells. Not surprising to see her on top of the overall leaderboard when it was all said and done.
Yeah, Sean, probably the only thing that went according to plan and anything involving the Latin America Regional this past weekend was Brenda Castro walking away as the top spot on the women's side of things. 3-time fittest woman in Mexico, kind of the favorite coming in for just about everybody. I was really impressed with, despite having a less than ideal start to the weekend, not starting day number 1 in first, how she responded with pretty much all the pressure that we could mount on someone who is the favorite there, and as the one that everyone expects to run away with the competition, to rebound nicely and get the spot is a nice kind of tip of the cap to her, tip of the sombrero, I guess.
Tip of the sombrero, nice one. And yeah, this moment here when she collapsed to the ground, enveloped in the Mexican flag, crying tears of joy, was a really special one, having gotten to meet her at that open announcement that Sean mentioned. I think what really bodes to Brenda's favor, where we think, can these guys actually make an impact at the games? They were throwing some curveballs. just like you would at the CrossFit Games. There were some hard right turns. No, you're not using 2 dumbbells. You're using one heavy one. No, you're going to change the event all across the board. And you guys are doing something completely different. I reached out to Brenda on Instagram, and she even said they favored me in their previous format. So I was really nervous when they switched up the events. And so to still come through, I think she's got a little bit of a head start going into the games. And I think she's going to do great.
The CrossFit Games are already an international affair, so I love the fact that we have a couple new countries here coming in, and I hope they bring that passion to Madison, because that's going to just make it even more fun to watch what's going on in the crowd. We have some great coverage coming up for you this weekend. We will be live from the Atlantic Regional in West Palm Beach, Florida. In the United States, you can watch 2 hours of live coverage on CBS The Network from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we immediately switch over to CBS Sports Network for 3 more hours of live television coverage. On Sunday, we will be live on CBS Sports Network for 3 hours from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can watch every heat of every event live on CBSSports.com. That's going to do it for us for today. For Rory McKernan and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. Buckle in for the final week of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Regionals.